That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're bundled up for this one. It's going to be a cold day in South Bend, Indiana, folks. Cold day, just like nature intended it in northern Indiana, blowing off the lake. Oh, it's going to be cold. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're warm and toasty. I already got a call on the line. I know who it is, and I know they're at the game, probably freezing or driving there right now. So we're going to get him on the line soon, just because I know he's doing this adventure, and I want to know how it's going, or if he's already out there freezing or sitting in his truck, or what the deal is. So welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. It's game day. I have a little more anxiety than I want to admit about this. And I don't know why it's creeping in on me. I don't know if you want to accuse me of BC scar tissue, weather, the coldness, senior day, BC. I don't know what. Combine it with the instabilities we have already. If the weather was fine, I don't know what it is, but there's a little something there that's given me a little more anxiety than I think I should have against a 3-7 team. Could be me in my own head with BC and my history. I don't know. But I need Notre Dame to do the right things the right way today in this cold weather and work through it. Okay. So we're going to go over some of that. Let's get into the introductions, the roll call, and then we're going to get into the phone calls. If anybody's there, give me a call. If you're tailgating, give me a call. Let me know how it's going. If it's muted, or I was having this discussion last night with somebody. If you are tailgating and doing all that today, and it's like somebody in our car said, oh man, that's going to be miserable and cold tailgating, you got to go with it the other way. If you're tailgating today and you want that place to be loud, you got to go the other way. Get up there early in the morning, start drinking like 5 Miller Lights before 10 a.m. You'll feel warm and toasty, baby. Like you almost need to just lean into it like a rain game. Lean into it. I'm going to be wet. I'm going to be cold, and have fun with it. I don't know if that's going to happen with the Notre Dame fan base or not. It might be the best way to warm up. I'm not advocating overindulgence. No one's ever been known to do that at a tailgate, right? I'm just saying, I'm trying to think of ways to stay warm here. Get some brown liquor in you. Oh, boy. All right. YouTube, obviously, you're there. Hit subscribe. I appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You'll be alerted every time a new episode drops. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish, or at Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can get me. Call in line 312-900-8815. Let me know what you've heard and seen, okay? So let's do roll call. I have a couple bullet points I want to hit on, and we'll see if anybody wants to give us a call. I know Saturdays are tough. I've found that doing that this year. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you end up with like a regular crowd that works for during the week. I know Saturdays are weird. People are a hit or miss, family obligations before the game. Kids hockey game, you got to go, whatever. Give me a call if you want, if you have a minute, if you're heading to the game. If not, whatever. We'll make it a chat. Doesn't matter to me. I'm here for you and what you want to do. Okay. So let's get into the roll call. I see some familiar characters here. I got to tell you guys, and I mean this genuinely, all of you people that are there almost every single time I do a show, and you're there before I even go live commenting, let's go Irish, go John, all that. It means the world to me. It absolutely means the world to me, your guys' support. So that main group, you know who you are that are here all the time. It really means the world. I wish I could express enough to you how much I appreciate you guys being here and supporting this, what I'm trying to do. So thank you very much. Drunk Vigo's one of the first ones. Drunk is here all the time. It's always good to log in first thing on StreamYard in the morning and see Drunk. Roy boy, good to see you. Nick Dean, always good to see Nick here. Roy boy's been around a long time. Drunk Vigo's been around a long time. Nick Dean's been around a long time. These are good people, folks. Here's the deal. Willie B. Hardigan. I don't know a single person from BC Never been anywhere close, never planning to travel there, but I hate them. I think you speak for a lot of Notre Dame fans. 219, you're up first. 260, you're coming up after that. It's BC. I don't know what else to say. There's no redeeming qualities. Listen, here's the problem I have, other than the urine-colored helmets and the barf-colored jerseys. Here's my big issue. Their biggest claim to fame is ruining other people's seasons and games. Go build something yourself to be proud of. That's the number one thing that bugs me about them is they're most known to us for ruining good stuff we had going on. Wow, congratulations. You're not good enough to build anything to where you're in contention for anything. And then you rise up once a year, every 20-something years, ruin one of my seasons. Go to hell. Don't like them. Don't like them. The inferiority thing, oh, Boston, whatever. I just want to run these people into the ground, send them back to the Northeast, and not worry about it. I ain't in the mood. I'm just telling you guys, today, I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood for us to mess around and play games and all this. We got this big matchup in LA that all the fans are looking at. You don't figure this out today, that isn't going to matter as much. I'm just telling you. So I'm not open to us playing games today. This is too serious coming to the end of the road here in the regular season with a chance to salvage an unbelievable save job at 9-3. I'm not here to play games. I love senior day. These guys deserve their moment. Love your parents, all your support system. Give them a hug, give them a kiss, and get ready to crack some skulls. Right after that, I'm not in the mood today. I'm just telling you, I'm not in the mood for us to mess around. This ain't the time. We're too far down the tracks here for that. I told myself I wasn't going to get worked up. Look how that went. It lasted 8 minutes. Garen Knutson, let's go. Good. Garen, I don't know if I've seen you in here before, but I appreciate you being here today. Let's go, baby. Here we go. Sensei TV. Let's go Irish. Hope you guys moving up the ranks so my Ohio State Buckeyes win over you guys can look even better. Thank you for beating Clemson. Couple things with that. Hang with me, 219. I'm coming to you first. I know you're probably freezing. The phone's shaking in your hand. Sitting in the tailgate lot. John, it's going to be a fun game, but I'm freezing. Oh, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Probably lots of things. Here's a couple things. One is, I don't think it matters the strength of the Notre Dame win or any other win in the Big Ten. Michigan schedules nobody has in it, and they're in fine position. I don't think it matters anymore if you're in a Power 5. You could schedule all your non-conferences with high schools. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I'm waiting for them to say, Michigan, you're number 10. You haven't played anybody. USC, you don't have any rank wins. You're out of the top 10. Nope. They don't do that. So it rewards you for scheduling soft. So whatever. Oh, Illinois, Michigan, I'm on the edge of my seat. Come on. Oh, Maryland, Ohio State, edge of my seat. No. They reward these teams. If you're in a Power 5, you can schedule nobody else intentionally, and it's fine. So I don't think the strength in the Notre Dame win is going to matter much at all. In regards to beating Clemson, here's the deal with beating Clemson. Everybody in America was glad we beat Clemson that wanted their team to be in it, in the playoff. Think about it. Everybody saw Clemson as an undefeated team asking to be clipped off, asking to be beat. This is not 2018 Clemson. Everybody knew this Clemson team wasn't that, but they were still undefeated, have the championship pedigree. They're in a Power 5, and so they were in fine playoff position till we took care of business. And did so convincingly, by the way. Everybody in America was glad we did that because it freed up in their minds a spot for their team. You know who should have been the happiest about us beating Clemson the way we did? Michigan and Ohio State, right? Think about it. If they're both going to roll into that rivalry game undefeated, what's going to happen with the one who has one loss? I don't know if they're in the mix or not. And then they're not going to be in the conference championship, whatever. whatever. But us knocking Clemson out helped all those teams that are, one loss or whatever looking to jump in. So you had teams that hate Notre Dame fans rooting for Notre Dame to take out Clemson. We did a lot of teams hoping to make the playoff a big favor. And we didn't do it to be nice to anybody else. We did it because we need to try and establish what the Freeman era is going to be and look like. Phil Hag, it's good to see you here, Phil. Phil's here all the time. I appreciate you, man. Jay Lehman, always here as well. He's ready to go. Jay, here's what I'm going to tell you about your Twitter. I follow Jay on Twitter. Jay, very cerebral. He's a cerebral guy. He posts things not a lot of people post, the way he thinks about things and sees the world. Really nice guy, thoughtful guy, always makes me think of things a different way, a considerate way. Jay Lehman, you're a good guy. I can tell just by your tweets, the way you see the world is healthier than the way a lot of people do, including me in a lot of ways. Let's just be honest. Phil says, anyone heading to the frozen tundra today? I got one, maybe two on the line that are. I got a phone call last night from a friend who goes to campus Friday the day before and then comes back for the ball game on Saturday. And he reported to me there wasn't a lot of people out and about yesterday afternoon on campus. It wasn't the most lively environment. It was cold and snowing, folks. So I think a lot of people were feeling that. And it just makes people not want to go out and wander around the way they did on Clemson week when the weather was decent. So I don't know what that portends for today, but we'll see. J.D. Clay, come out strong and play all 4 quarters. You see me reacting to that by smiling and laughing. When is the last time this year this team played 4 quarters other than Clemson? That's the only time. It's the only time, right? Like are you asking too much to see 4 quarters of very solid football out of our boys? I don't know, but we're in the second to last game. So how much more am I supposed to pray for that? It's like, at what point this year are we going to see steady upward trajectory? Well, I'm at the second to last game and I'm still not expecting to see it. So I've kind of given up on it. Just find a way to win these 2 games. That's all. We're past. We're so far past linear improvement week by week, getting better, feeling more comfortable. Each week we start at a higher level of competence than we did before. What's capable out of the offense? No. We ain't there. No, that ain't happening. I gave up on it for this year. It can't be forever, but for this year, for a lot of reasons that you all know, instability at quarterback, a Buckner injury, first time coach, all the turnover, all of it, whatever it is, all of it. So forget getting better each week. I just need you to find a way to win these games by a point each. I do. Dr. John, good morning to you, sir. That's my surrogate grandfather. Oh, man. Dr. John, I love you being here. Thank you. Boydo, good morning. Go Irish. That's what I'm talking about. Tommy Reese, run the damn ball. Pretty obvious today. I think you can run it on these guys. I think you're going to have to, folks. Listen, it's something to talk about. How cold? I was thinking about this as I was getting set up this morning. How cold is cold enough that it's too cold to where mistakes start happening physically simply because you're cold? Like, there's cold to USC when it's 40 degrees at night in South Bend. That's cold to them. They got the full face thing on under their helmet, covering their ears and their neck and all that. There's cold to those people, which is like 40, 50 degrees. Then there's legitimate Midwest cold, which is like below freezing cold. So I think we're in that territory today. So what line does it become? I'm legitimately cold enough. My hands I can't feel and my reactions are delayed and I make a physical mistake. Am I overthinking that? Tell me, you guys, tell me if I'm overthinking that. But it's been on my mind this morning. How cold is cold enough that you start getting physical mistakes because your mind's telling your body to react and there's a little delay because it's cold? Not USC cold, 45 degrees. I'm talking in the teens. What does that do when you need to throw the ball and your feel and your touch as the receiver and the quarterback? Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Estimate, run the ball. Diggs, run the ball, run the ball. It ain't that hard, and you could do it today and win with it. Run the ball. Run it. And then when you're done, run it again. And when you're done with that, line up and run it again. This is the kind of day Estime's built for. This is it, folks. This is the kind of game Estime is built for. Just a brick wall moving downhill on you in the freezing cold. He's going to hurt you when he hits you, not the other way around. Make it sting in that cold. Run the ball. I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up. All right, phone calls coming up. I'm almost caught up with the chats. We're going to get to your guys' calls. David Fox, after the exciting recruiting news, it would be great to cap off the week with the W over a rival so we could look forward to USC. Go Irish. David, that's the path. That's the path, David. We need to see it. I like Senior Day. These guys deserve their time. You got to wipe those tears and be ready to instill fears, okay? That's what I need you to do. And that's a very interesting ball game late tonight. I'm sure you're all going to watch, by the way, UCLA, USC. That's a big ball game to see who's going to win that. UCLA's, I think, a lot better than a lot of people thought they'd be this year. Who's going to win that ball game? What does USC look like? Also, I hope whatever happens, it's a tough physical ball game and it's stressful and whatever. Wear them guys out. Wear them guys out for next week. Whatever you got to do. So that's going to be interesting. Jay says 36 in Dallas. Can't imagine the chill in South Bend. Listen, folks, it's amazing. Like the way this works is I used to live in right by Northwestern, like 2 blocks from the lake. And you had all that lake effect stuff on the north side in Illinois. And then all that lake effect weather and all the intensity that builds up over that water, I would always get it right off the North Shore in Chicago and Evanston. And then it goes across the lake and boom, it hits South Bend and it gained whatever crappy weather we get on the Illinois side of the lake, gathers steam, and then it's ready to pound South Bend coming off the other side of the lake. So whatever we get, I just figure it's going to be even crappier there. Oh, Phil, what has Phil got here? What the hell happened to the Friday night pep session they used to hold at the Joyce? I don't know. They do pep rallies still, do they not? Come on. Brandon Fry, good to see you, man. Brandon, you going to be out there today or what? Angela Rudiger, I always say it and I'll always say it. Every show I have, it's good to have a Rudiger in here, all right? Close with the family, love the family. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise to you why I'm close with Rudigers. Like, it just shouldn't. They're among the few people in families that just get it. I don't have to explain anything. They just get me and I get them. That is the basis of our relationship, and it's all filtered around Notre Dame. My whole life since a little kid, us and the Rudigers, eye to eye with this Notre Dame thing. What do we got here? John, where's the usual game day polo you had to take a second mortgage out to buy? I couldn't find it this morning. I think it's in the bottom of my hamper. Phil, I literally looked because that is my favorite new polo, and I couldn't find it. I think it's got to be in the bottom of my laundry that I don't even remember where I wore it out this week or something. I don't know. Roy boy, cold and windy. Run, run, run. I'm telling you, this is Estime Central, bro. Estime Central. Downhill in the cold. He's delivering the pain, not receiving it. That's the path to me. Run the ball, keep them legs warm. Boy, no, that's what I'm talking about. Andrew Gilmore, happy to see you here. This is very interesting and quite disturbing, I might add. ND is 0-5 when heavily favored this year. I think they'll finally cover this week. I think if they're going to cover, they're going to need some extras. If you're going to cover the 20 or 21 it's gotten up to, I think you're going to need some turnovers, a short field, block another kick, do something to cover it. I just don't see our offense being that explosive today or ever, quite frankly, with the way we're set up now. Phil, I was offered so many free ticks, I had to take a hard pass on all. I'll be honest, so was I, and one of them is Colin, and I feel bad. I legitimately have family obligations later, and so I had to decline too. David Fox, our prior play at home against bad teams this year doesn't up the anxiety levels. I think they'll play well on Senior Day, though. Nobody can blame me for having that anxiety today, right? Like, who could blame me for being nervous about this? We already don't play good at home. I'm not trying to give BC more credit. It's more about what we do or not do, not the other way around. All right, we got a bunch of chats I want to get to, but I know some of these people are at the game. I don't want to make them wait. So I'm going to kind of pause the chats, get back to them after this. 219, you're on the line if it hasn't frozen yet.
John, I'm just pulling into the north lot.
What's it like, man? I knew that was you, and I told people, I said, I know he's pulling in. What's it like over there? Is it the normal tailgate scene, or is it muted? What's going on?
No, there's a lot less people here this morning. We left a little later too, but as we started getting east here on the toll road, it started getting colder and a lot more snow.
Really?
And and the wind really picked up as I got closer to South Bend.
Ooh, and that wind is what gets you, man. That adds that South Bend bite off that lake. What do you want us to do today, Adam? I know you're going to have fun and drink a little bit and warm up. Is it just pound the ball and be able to do that today and win? Come on.
Yeah, just win the game. Just get this thing over with. It'd be nice if they actually won one easy for once, and then we can go home tonight and watch USC and start thinking about the game we all really care about.
Yeah, that's how I feel too, and I just don't like BC, and even just saying their name annoys me. And I'm like you, I just want it over with. It's like Navy. I just wanted it over with.
Yeah, it's just this season has just been so frustrating. You have zero confidence that they're just going to come out and take care of business against a team like this. So that's what's been the frustrating part. Yeah,
you just don't know what you're going to get. And then you add in cold weather, and you add in a rivalry game, and you add in senior day, and you add in our already inconsistencies at home. And I think it's perfectly fair to be concerned. At the same time, Adam, these guys are 3-7 for a reason, because they're not very good at football. And I know Marshall wasn't either, and neither was Stanford. But the fact is they're 3-7. I shouldn't be sitting here worrying about this to this extent.
Yeah, so was Navy too, and so was Stanford, and we always play to our competition. I'm not worried about next Saturday. I'm worried about this Saturday.
Yeah, because they'll get up because they'll know what's on the line in LA. It's very, very frustrating, man. So what's your plan going to be today? Are you guys going to sit out and tailgate, or is the move listen to music in the car and drink a few? What are you going to do?
Oh, we're about to set up here. We're sitting in the truck right now. We're going to set up. I got a real good heater, and we're going to set up and drink a little bit and go on the game, and hopefully it turns out well. Senior days are always hard too. It's like the emotions are messed up.
Yep.
And I just hope they take care of business early.
You know what, man? I listen.
One thing I would get.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So the one thing though that I kind of really wanted to talk about for the calling in today was, I was me and the wife were having lunch yesterday, and we were talking a little about the season, and we were saying it's been so up and down and so emotionally draining. But to be honest with you, I've never been more excited about the Notre Dame football program. I'm 40 years old. I've never been more excited on where it's going.
Yep. I get that.
I've never been excited about where it's going 12 years under Brian Kelly.
Yep. I get that.
This is the worst talent we're going to have.
Yep.
Freeman ain't going to stop recruiting.
Yep. You're exactly
about the program going forward. Then
you're exactly right. And 443, hang in there. You're coming up next. 443. I got you. You're exactly right. And that Clemson win, that Clemson win was it, man. That told us there's more high-end upside to get out of Notre Dame with this guy than the last guy. We never had a win like that at any point in Brian Kelly. None. We never had a win that impressive with Brian Kelly ever. So it's a big damn deal. And like you said, and I've been saying, this is his weakest roster he's ever going to have. Everyone after this is going to be better, more well-rounded, and deeper. It's a perfectly fair position for you and the wife. I'm there with you too.
Yeah, so,
There's more upside. There was never this upside with Kelly. He wouldn't allow it.
no, he was just gonna, we were like you've always said, we were gonna beat the teams we're supposed to. We were never gonna have a chance against top 6 teams ever with him. And I feel like Freeman, some of these games we should win by a lot are more of a struggle for him than getting the team ready for the big games.
Yeah, and
so that's something he'll have to figure out. But I mean, moving forward, I mean, we're only getting more talent every year now.
yeah, yep. It's trending up, and that Clemson win showed you that upside. You know what I always talk about? You watch my show for a long time. You'll know what I'm referencing. I always talk about that it factor that guys like Lou had and frankly he had. And what I mean by that is the ability to get the group to play better than it looks like they should when it's collective on paper. How do you get the absolute most out of your group when you need it the most? Freeman did that against Clemson. I don't think Kelly ever really figured it out.
That's another thing I mentioned to my wife yesterday too when we were just talking about the program. I said, he reminds me of Lou. No other coach has reminded me of Lou. The way he cares about Notre Dame.
Yep.
The way he talks about Notre Dame reminds me of Lou.
Yep. Adam, you got to know, Adam, you've been around this program a long time. You have relatives that played at Notre Dame, won things that matter at Notre Dame. You know what this is like. All of the coaches that have succeeded at Notre Dame the most have been guys that make it about Notre Dame, not about them. They make it about Notre Dame first, the lady on the dome first, them and their ego and them getting the credit and all that stuff and the power and all that is secondary to doing this all for Notre Dame. Kelly did a lot of things for Kelly, how it made Kelly feel, how it made Kelly look, what it did for his ego, all of that. Freeman makes it about Notre Dame. It matters here. It's a big difference in approach, and I think it's going to pay off.
Yeah, it's different. You have to be different here. You have to recruit the country. You just can't recruit your region of the country. You have to make the place, which all of us that are diehard Notre Dame fans know it's special. You have to make it feel special and feel different.
Yep. And Freeman gets it, Adam. He gets it.
Harder job. Yeah, I think he does. And so let's, I'm more into like finishing the season strong, and it's really just about these next couple of years. I mean, I think it's pointing up. I really like where the program's going. So it's not so much about winning or winning big these last couple of weeks, but let's just play solid football and move forward. And I think things are going to be real good.
Yep. And trending up in recruiting for sure. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. I'm sure you did. You're pretty active. Late last night, Tommy Reese was showing Kenny Minchie around Notre Dame Stadium. They turned on the lights for him. It was very late at night. It was like 10 o'clock at night or something. Maybe that's when he got into town. And I saw the pictures, and it was Reese. And it was Reese showing him around the stadium. I love to see it, man. I love to see it. That kid's 6'1.5", 205. What's Bayless going to do with that body? And the other question is, how much does a kid that age grow when they get into college? If you're like a senior now in high school, I don't remember my biology enough. How much more can he grow? But I liked what I saw out of that frame. You could work with it. Get Bayless in there.
Yeah, I saw that last night, and it looked like he was taller than, or just as tall as Tommy Reese. So he wasn't little.
Yeah, I thought that too. So it's all encouraging, man. The recruiting's hanging in there. Could have turned on us after a rough start to the year. Seems like it's stabilized. So I don't know, Adam. I want you to stay warm and have fun, but I'm afraid we're going to be stressed out.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be close, which, it'd be nice if it wasn't for once, but that's what this team's done all year. So let's go Irish, and let's hope they play well, and let's try to move on to SC. And I'll let you get to some other callers, John.
Hey, man, enjoy your day. Drink a couple cold ones to stay warm. And you know what? I respect your grind, sir. No weather's going to stop you. I respect your grind. I love it. And now I want to know, though. No, you got to call me back on the Monday morning. You got to call me on Monday morning. I want to know what the stadium's like when you get in there. Tell me how loud it is. Tell me if people are lighting barrels with garbage in the end of the stadium to stay warm. You got to let me know. Give me a report. So let me know Monday how this goes.
All right.
John,
we'll talk.
Have a good one, man. Stay warm. Oh, Adam's a good guy, man. I felt bad. He offered me a ticket, and Adam's got good tickets. He's in the soft seats, you know, the first few rows with the seat backs. And he said, I don't think the wife's going. It's, you know, do you want to go? But I had obligations. My skinny butt would have been out there freezing with him. All right. Let's go back to the calls. 443. You're talking to me. What's going on?
Hey, John, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well. I'm a lot warmer than the people that are tailgating right now. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure. I'm sure it's cold there in the Midwest. I used to be from there, so I know it gets cold, and that lake effect is real. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Although today is an uncomfortable feeling because it is Boston College, and I think they're like a nemesis, just like Navy. They're just a thorn in the side. So
yeah, and teams like this always seem to rise up against Notre Dame. That's always circled on the schedule. Everybody wants to get us. Everybody knows those tropes. You're Notre Dame. You get everybody's best shot, like all of that, and it's all true. It's just these teams that are objectively no good. I feel like we should do better against. 3-7 for a reason, man. Right?
Well, yeah, I remember when we lost to Ohio State, I told a friend, and, you know, I said, maybe we'll finish, 10-2 or 9-3. And here we are. We have potential to still finish 9-3. But the teams we lost to outside Ohio State weren't even in the range of the ones I thought. And then we smashed Clemson in a decimated thing. And then I'm like, we're moving in the right direction. And then I'm watching the Navy game last week here, and it's just like, they come out dominant, and then the second half, it's just a shaking your head moment. Like, did they disappear? The one thing I'm scared of is when Freeman scores 35 points in the first half. It's never a good omen for the second half so far. So.
Yeah, man, but everything's so backwards this year than what we're used to, and I don't know if that's good or bad. And what I mean by that is, you kind of said it. Think about it. When you made your way through the later part of the Kelly era, what it ended up being was you were pretty sure, even if it was ugly, he was going to beat the teams we should beat. And then you just knew the best teams we play, we had no shot, playoff, forget it, whatever. Kelly got consistent enough to do that. And then nobody was satisfied because it ended up 10-2, 11-1, 12-0, but then nothing on the back end, no even hope of winning any game that matters after that. This guy's doing it the opposite year one. You think about it. The best played good to get decent against Ohio State and then dominated Clemson, which was a surprise. And then the middle tier kind of good teams we played good against. And then the bad teams we played bad against. It makes no sense. Make it make sense. Make it. Tell me. Make it make sense. Why is it like that this year? Make it make sense. Is it just year one? Calibration year one? A lot of moving parts. Make it make sense, man. Tell me.
Well, the first part of the season with Marshall and Ohio State with the offensive line, I honestly, we kind of jumped down Harry Heastan's throat on that one. But if you watch the online, they weren't moving their feet. That was the Quinn era. There's been some bad coaching going through the Kelly era. Yeah, we won the game, but we know there's been bad coaching. We talk about our wide receiver coach, Dell. And
that was going to be number one on that was going to be number one on my list. Look at the position Dell put us in. Yeah. Look at the position he put us in. It's like a 3-year vacuum in the wide receiver room of what it should be in recruiting and development. Chancey Stuckey's a good teacher and a good recruiter and a great communicator. He's going to need all those skill sets. He's got the toughest job on the staff this year, given what he inherited, and he's doing a good job. And the recruiting end of it's good too. But I can't forget, it's like a 3-year vacuum in that room.
It's just a lack of coaching up. And, the one thing that is always frustrating, this is even before the Kelly era, you get these star recruits and, we've had several, players jump out as freshmen or sophomore. But have you ever noticed you never see any more development than what they came in with? You kind of get that feeling that, you saw Darius Walker, he blew out in the Michigan game, and then he was just steady the rest of the way. There was no next level to it. Kyle Hamilton came burning out the door. So, he was at a high level starting right off the bat. But do you ever notice like these freshmen that come out and blow out? It's just like you see some growth, but you never see like the next echelon step. So that has to go with development. So obviously our development process for years has been broken.
Yeah,
right?
and you know what else? I want to let me
there-
piggyback on that. You bring up something good. Let me piggyback on that. I'm going to give you a couple examples of that. It's frustrating to me when you do end up with receivers like Claypool, for example, and then you only get really like one really high production year out of them, and then they're gone. That's not enough. That's not enough. That's a guy you need to get 2 to 3 full, robust years of production out of. Then they go to the league. Like, even when we do get the production, like you said, it's usually one big rush and then it's over. Like, I need that to build over 2 or 3 years, not one and you're gone.
Yeah, and another thing with the offensive line, do you ever, we blew Syracuse defensive line off the ball, but do you ever notice with the smaller defensive lines, we struggle immensely with the quick movements, the quick slashes, we're catching, we don't fire off the ball. There's a deficiency there. It's like we come ready to play the big early Michigans or Clemsons, and these guys don't have it. It's quick twitch, quick move, quick react, and it just doesn't seem like they're ready for what they're going to see sometimes. And that's frustrating as well. But it's just like, I just feel from a development standpoint, we've never seen the next step. Like Dalen Hayes, when he came out and he was a true freshman, we all thought, hey, wow, that's an amazing talent, He was out there as a freshman. He was doing things. But did you really see any major growth from Dalen Hayes his entire time here with Notre Dame? Yeah, he had the big sack against Clemson when Lawrence and them were out. I'm not hating the kid. He's a real athlete. He picked a better school than up there, Lord willing, it's just I don't feel we ever see the development we should. And we've seen growth in some players like Golden Tate. Came in and running back. He grew, but by the time we saw growth in him, that show was over. And Michael Floyd, we saw probably day one, but you know what I'm saying? We never see Michael Floyd go past what he brought.
All right. Well, then what about this? What about this?
You don't see those.
What you're talking about wide receiver development. Don't even get me started on quarterback room development. You want to talk about that? You want to talk about lack of development? Explain to me why even the best of the recent quarterbacks got worse, not better, the longer they played under Kelly. Who are the 2 best of recent vintage? Probably Ian Book and Deshaun Kaiser. And I got news for you. The second year each of them started, all their numbers went down. That is the opposite of development. So I need that to change too. Before I even worry about wide receivers, I need these quarterbacks to develop and get better and better and better, not worse. Even the 2 best Kelly had got worse, not better, the longer they played for him. Something's wrong. That can't be the reality. Something's wrong.
Yeah, there is something wrong, but the quarterback conundrum is, you had quarterbacks. Actually, technically, even under Willingham, Brady Quinn was Willingham's guy, but there was development there. After that, Kelly was indecisive with quarterbacks. You had Everett Golson, and then we were flipping in Tommy Reese for the 2-minute drives, but he saw potential in Everett Golson. Then we got into the Malik Zaire area. And Malik Zaire had an arm. He got hurt in the Virginia game. Then we got Deshaun Kaiser. And then we had probably our two best quarterbacks, because I liked Malik Zaire. He wasn't great, but he was efficient in the run game, and he could throw the ball in that offense. But, the moral of the story is there was an indecisive. If Malik Zaire made one mistake, in came Kaiser. Kaiser came out and made a mistake, in came Zaire. There was a total indecisiveness, and, it's you can't play the game scared to make a mistake. You don't want to make the mistake, but you can't. And you can tell with Kelly, listen, he knew he was a running team. He didn't want the quarterback to cost him a game. But the problem was a quarterback actually has to lift you up to win a game occasionally.
Yep.
And they're so scared to make it over, they're holding on the ball.
Yep.
Last week, Navy, perfect example. All right, you get that all-out blitz. Styles is coming across the middle on a drag. Quick release. You see the pressure coming. You know you have to get the ball out of your hands. What does he do? He doesn't throw it. Obviously, he doesn't throw to Styles, because I honestly think Styles is so far in his head, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a bad player. I just think, he's had a few drops and he's trying to figure it out.
Yep.
I'm not going to, begrudge say he has talent. We've seen his talent the year before, but here we are, he can't catch. I'll tell you who's not going to catch the ball today. Probably Styles, because he can't catch it in warm weather. That's not a defense. He's just struggling this season.
Yeah.
So in the cold weather with your cold hands, he's not going to be my number one option. I got to be honest. And I don't think it's because he's bad, but there's sometimes when you make a few mistakes, you're in your head. And I got to say, Lorenzo Styles seems to me like he's at war with himself right now, catching the ball.
Yeah. You know what it's like, man? You know what it's like?
He's just thinking about
Dude,
it.
I can explain it perfectly. I can explain it perfectly. As a golfer, it's like missing a 2-foot tap in, and then the next time you have one, it's in your head, and the hole looks smaller than it really is. Like, it's just weird how humans, they are in their brain, man. Once you miss one of them putts, if you're weak-minded, like I am sometimes on the golf course, it's in my head. He's just got the yips a little bit. Let me ask you this. You talk about this development and all that, and I think for the Freeman era to get where we want it to go, there has to be a quarterback that we hitch the wagon to, and then we take the developmental track for a few years with a bunch of young talent. They all grow together, learn together, make their rookie mistakes together, and they emerge later way stronger. That's the sweet spot here for Freeman. That's the path to me, not a transfer one year and a transfer the next, and maybe a guy that there's no stability in that. That's the path I need us to get to. Do you agree that that's the long-term path for stability and sustainability at quarterback? I think you need a guy hitch your wagon to for a few years. What do you think about that?
Well, the quarterback situation is this. I think you got to get more talent in there, and hopefully this kid today commits. He was committed to Pittsburgh. He looks okay. But the problem, the moral of the story is that I have to say you have to get more talent in there. And I'm sorry, but the transfer portal, I don't see much going to be in the transfer portal this year. Cade McNamara, no thank you. But that goes back to a valid process with that. J.J. McCarthy was in our backyard. We didn't go get him because we wanted.
So if you're not going if you're not going to go the transfer way, then what do you do next year? Then you have a competition with a healthy Buckner, and then Pine and Angeli, and then freshman in the mix, and you see who wins it.
Yeah, I think you have to see who wins it, and I think you have to develop it. I mean, most people will agree with me, but what does a one-year guy get you, send you to, and you don't know what you have the following year?
Yeah, I think it builds you a bridge. I think it builds you a bridge. If you're not an SEC team loaded with talent ready to win like US, it builds you a bridge. But that's why I'm saying that's a Band-Aid, not a long-term solution the way Notre Dame's built. It's a temporary Band-Aid bridge. That's all that is.
You have to and if you can't show a quarterback that has an arm, if a kid can't sit back and watch Notre Dame run all over Clemson and can't even throw the ball, if you're a kid with an ounce of ability in my head, I'd be looking at Notre Dame. So let me get this right. They can run 300 yards without even being able to throw it for 100. If I have an ounce of talent, I can complete the ball. And people say the wide receivers don't get open. I'm sorry. I see receivers open all the time. They never get the ball. When you can't complete a drag, and we've had this talk for Marshall and all this, we don't throw drags. We don't throw crossings. We don't throw dump offs. Heck, if he dumped the ball off to the running back another time against Navy, it's a touchdown. It's just like there is no process. I think they're trying to make sure that he's a game manager, not a quarterback. That's what we train. Game managers, not quarterbacks. And that has to change.
Yes.
So I'm hoping Tommy Reese gets in another guy. And, we got Andelli that will be a little bit older. Hopefully Buckner stays healthy, but you can't keep on it, and Pine you don't. But if you bring in a transfer, here's my thing. If you bring a transfer kid in and you don't play him, then you get labeled as, they went through the transfer form, but they didn't play me anyway. So then the kid doesn't get what you want. So, I think it's a catch-22 also. But the transfer portal, if you think Cade McNamara is going to get us over the hump, I don't feel like that's going to get us over the hump. I don't see anyone in the transfer portal right now that is, they'll be better than Drew Pine, but how much better? Tyler Buckner, honestly, from what we've seen, I don't know anything. We played so bad. Marshall, I don't know if any of it had to do with it. And it hasn't improved. Look at Navy. They weren't blocking anything right, and the tight ends weren't blocking. And we have to get a solid system. But you know what? The moral of the story is the quarterback situation. We have to develop a quarterback eventually. The transfer portal is not the greatest option, and I still don't feel there is no rattler in the portal this year that's going to come in and be able to wing it. And we have to get these wide receivers in places to run the routes and catch the ball. But the quarterback does have to complete a drag. I mean, that's Clemson, Ian Book. I've been over that a million times. He couldn't complete a drag, would have got us a first down and extended the drive. He overthrew it. How do you overthrow a drag? Sometimes I question our development. I'm not a quarterback. I used to play running back, but I feel like I could complete some of these passes. And believe me, I don't have a college arm at all.
Yeah,
so,
man, it's one of
right, Big John.
Man, I appreciate you. This was a good full breakdown, man. I appreciate it. But I'll finish with this, man. With the quarterback thing, I'm with you. And the way I phrase it that I think works? I need Notre Dame, whatever they end up with quarterback here, moving forward, has to be a guy you win your biggest games because of, not with. That's a big difference. We won the Clemson game with Pine, not because of. I need a quarterback that, if we need it, is capable of taking the team on his shoulders, making the big plays needed. So that's the goal. I don't care the name. I just need one of these guys to be that guy.
With what he's got, these are the people then either he's A lousy talent evaluator, B, he can't develop a quarterback. And I understand he's young. How old is Reese? Is he what is he, like 38, 36? What is he?
I think he's younger than that. I think
even remember at this
point. He's got to be 35, 36 probably. I think he's a couple years younger than me. 35, 36, 37, somewhere in there.
I mean, he's there. He's my age, so I understand he's a young coach. But if we can't develop a quarterback, then if they can't run your offense, then you have no offense, and you're not a quarterback coach, you're an offensive coordinator. You have to develop somebody. Hey, as lousy as a coach as Weiss was, he got us Quinn, and he got us Clausen, and the in-between wasn't good. Don't get me wrong on that. But, even Willingham found a way to win with lesser quarterbacks. Pat Dillingham could complete a slant to Arnaz Battle where we won the game against Michigan State.
That's exactly what went into my mind.
And that's a quarter.
What was that? 2001, 2002? That's the exact game that came into my mind too. Pat Dillingham to Battle. I had that exact thought. It's weird your brain went there too.
Yeah, so you have to have somebody to complete a pass, but you know what? There has been no quarterback development at this point. And Tommy Reese is either a bad coach, a bad talent evaluator, because they chose Buckner over McCarthy. McCarthy looks really good at Michigan. I hate to say that because I don't like Michigan.
Yep.
But he looks good. So either we're picking the wrong players or we're picking people he sees potential in and he can't bring them up. Now, he's a young coach. There's some grace in that. But we have to have some form of offense, and I'm tired of saying we can't complete a pass. It drives me nuts.
Yep.
It drives me up the wall.
Yeah, and man,
yards, they're terrible.
And you look around, here's what gets me, man. You look around the country, and there are teams that I've never heard of with players I've never heard of that run good offenses, and it's innovative, it's quick paced, it's chunk plays, it's creativity, it's crossers, it's pick plays, it's all sorts of stuff, exciting stuff, and it's quarterbacks and receivers I've never heard of doing it. Like, we make offensive football look harder than it ever has to look. I'm convinced of that.
And another thing with Brian Kelly, the win they won against Alabama. Let's talk about how bad our wide receiver coaching is, right? The same play we ran against Florida State when we were going to beat them on their own goal line, he runs against Alabama and beats them. But this time, their wide receivers executed right. You got to have the right coaches. You got to have the right players. And I don't think we've had the right coaches. So the stumbling block is you're transitioning. You're getting the right people in place. You're getting to learn the right way. And I got to be honest, you look at our wide receiver, Chase Stuckey, he's having an aneurysm like I am, I feel sometimes. When I catch him on the sideline on the broadcast, I'm like, well, it's nice to know I'm not the only one losing my mind on that one.
Yeah.
So, but I catch him on the film. I'm like, he's going crazy. He's like, how can you drop that ball?
Now, all right, let me ask you this. We've covered a lot of ground here. We've covered the past deficiencies, different coaching staffs early on this year. Where we're at right now, do you feel encouraged about the direction of all this under Freeman and the new coaches? Like, do you feel like overall, not just BC today, but overall big picture with recruiting and everything, do you feel like we're trending up?
I feel like we're trending up. I do think our defense is going to be very nasty coming up in the future here. I like his effort. I feel the positivity. I think there's a buzz with him as a coach, and people want to see him do well. I have looking up. Offensively, offensive line always looks up to me. Our running back room looks great. I'm very excited about some of our receivers, but the number one concern is the quarterback.
Yep.
Because it doesn't work if we can't get him the ball, and I just haven't seen development.
Yep, that is perfectly fair. That is absolutely perfectly fair. And here's the other thing that it's always in my mind with this exact discussion, man, and it is, do you believe Freeman sees exactly what we see, but he feels like he's in the middle of this year, he has what he has, he's already on the backup due to injury, like you just have to get through it. Are you confident that Marcus Freeman sees this through the same lens that you and I do? That's a big question I have moving forward. Do you think he sees it the way we do?
I personally, this is me trying to read body language over TV, which isn't easy, but, some of these close wins, I can see in his face, he's being like, oh, win's a win, but I can see he doesn't mean it's just a win because he was not happy.
Yeah.
Just like we're yelling on the phone, or sometimes when you have your after show, I'm going, Marshall, how could this happen? Or stuff like that. You can see it in his face. I can see he sees it's not happy. He's not happy. He's in a tough spot of, the quarterback he thought he had got hurt. Okay, it is what it is.
Yep.
He brought Drew Pine in. Drew Pine is Drew Pine.
Limited. Yeah, limited.
Drew Pine. So he's in a rock and hard place. And he's limited. So he has to get through the season and make it the best as possible. And I understand that. But it's one thing on Brian Kelly that is sort of a compliment. I mean, I grew up watching him in Michigan at Grand Valley State and all that. I always thought Kelly was good at halftime adjustments. My only concern with Marcus Freeman is the halftime adjustments are not there. I feel like he gets our players ready to go, but there's something that happens in between halftime where they don't come back with the urgency to put the dagger in it. And another thing from developmental standpoint, and I'm sorry, I know you got other callers to get to. I just want to get this out.
Sure.
You know why I think we lack in development? Because we never crush the teams we're supposed to crush, and we never get the players in to actually gain experience when they're young.
Man, that's a really good point. That's a damn good point.
And over the years of Kelly, because we've won the game, which is great. But those teams we were supposed to crush, we never crush. So the guys behind them got no experience because we're pulling on a tight one instead of crushing what we should crush.
There's something to be said for that. Listen,
Alabama gets their backups.
There's something to be said for that. Here, follow me here, man. You're right on this. 314, you're coming up next. Hang in there. 314 next. It isn't just that physical development that you're talking about, but it's also the development of a mentality of we're going to kill you. And then even our backups are going to run the regular offense and move the ball on you. Like that kill factor, that like instinct to finish a team and embarrass them and just drive a stake through them. That develops a mentality of dominance and winning and what's acceptable and power and all that. And I want to see that too. The physical development's one part of it, but mentally, that dynamic of knowing you ended somebody's life, I want us to have that more too.
And that's 100% the truth. You have to have that crush it mentality. Destroy your enemy. Hey, why did you go for 2? Because I couldn't go for 3.
There you go.
Like what I said, I love to say.
So what's going to happen today then? What's going to happen today then? 20-point favorites. You got you laying down a few grand on Notre Dame to cover or what?
I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. 21 points, no. Boston College history alone says we should be terrified this game's going on a senior's day.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. If you look at the history of when we had our last national championship opportunity when I was like 7 or 8, even though we beat Florida State, we didn't win the national championship because of Boston College. Tyro hit Willingham. We beat up everybody. We got destroyed in the green jerseys by Boston.
They were too slick.
They're thorn in the side. I'm happy with a win. Yeah, right. Yeah, sure they were.
Anyway, 5 fumbles.
Win a close one. It shouldn't be a close one. Yep. But yeah, be blessed, John. It was great talking to you.
Hey, thanks.
Win a close one.
We covered a lot of ground today, man. We got through a lot. Thank you. Call me again.
I will. Thank you. Be blessed, brother.
You too. Enjoy your day. That man had a lot to get off his chest. That man had a lot to get off his chest. I felt like that guy's been saving those bullet points up. I had to let that guy rip. Had to let it rip. All right, 314, you're coming up. I got a couple chats I want to get real quick, and then 314. Let's see. Come back here. Craig, one of my local South Bend contacts. Never would have met this guy, Craig, without Twitter and without my show. Now we're great friends in real life. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's the best part about this show is being able to meet so many people that love the same thing I do. John, you watching the game with Always Irish Senior? We don't need a 93 repeat. I am actually watching the game with Always Irish Senior, and I've never seen Always Irish Senior matter in my life than Boston College 93. It's one of my earliest memories as a kid was being in that living room and seeing him react to that final sequence and everything that happened. I'll never forget it. So Craig, maybe I should tell Always Irish Senior to stay home. Maybe it's bad luck, but I am planning on watching it with him. I've never seen the guy matter than 93 BC. Oh, Burt Reynolds. He's back. It's always good to see Burt. Oh, man. All right. 314 and then 574. Coming up, 314, you're on the air. What's on your mind this morning, my friend?
Hey, John, this is Paul Conlix from St. Louis. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the call, man. What's on your mind today on this cold and chilly senior day in South Bend, Indiana?
Yeah, it's cold here in St. Louis, too, but the sun's out, so, I kind of go outside and kind of feel the coldness and how the players may feel. But, I was having lunch. St. Louis is I don't know if you're aware of this, John, but St. Louis has a lot of Notre Dame fans, probably more so than Mizzou or just as much as Mizzou. But I was having lunch with some friends and 2 friends, and one friend said to the other, Pine is 7-1, and how good Pine is. And the other friend said, we won. He's won 7 games despite of Pine.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we're going to have to win today, despite of Pine, because he's physically limited. That's putting it charitably.
Yeah.
I won't say Pine is a bad quarterback. I'm not going to say that. But Pine is a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my assessment.
He's the poor kid's just limited, man. It is not his fault. He is going to be physically limited no matter how hard he tries or anything else. And it's like I say all the time, man. Notre Dame's not getting to any of our final destination goals till they have a quarterback that can win the biggest games we play because of, not with, where you drag him along and he doesn't ruin the game. I need that guy to be the dude. What happened to Joe Montana? Like, Notre Dame's quarterback should be a guy that's capable of taking the team on his shoulders, putting together a drive, making the throws, and winning the game. Am I asking for too much?
That's how it should be at Notre Dame. It should be that way.
And so, do you
and getting back,
man, it's so frustrating. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I getting back to Marcus Freeman, I definitely do believe, John, that he understands the situation with the quarterback room and development and retention, and will make some changes at the end of the year. I believe Marcus Freeman is really on top of that, and I have confidence in Marcus Freeman. Just look at the recruiting in 2023, and I just checked this morning, and Notre Dame is 1 right now for recruiting in 2024. So the talent he's bringing in is going to allow Notre Dame to be playing for a national championship every year. That's what Freeman's going to bring.
Man, when you look at that 23 class and how well-rounded it is, and then the start to 24, it is very, very fair to get very excited. I look at what this group was able to accomplish against Clemson, and I keep saying this because it's my biggest takeaway. He was able to get that performance out of this group, which will be by far his least talented group overall his entire time in Notre Dame. That is super encouraging.
Yeah, but I just think that today I'm going to, I'm a little under the weather myself today, John, but I'm going to watch the game probably with great anxiety because, I feel that every year Navy and Boston colleges are games that I just don't look forward to.
Yeah. No,
I don't know why that is.
I agree with you. I think it's so many years, man. I just think we've seen so much. You're older than me. You've seen more than me. I agree with you 100%. There has never been any time in my life where I'm excited to see BC or Navy up on the schedule. Never. It's just my Notre Dame-ness. No, not excited ever.
Hey, John, are you going to watch that USC and UCLA game tonight and kind of see what kind of performance they put on the field?
I am very intrigued to watch that ball game. And UCLA was a pleasant surprise. They've been a lot better this year than I thought they would be, or that I'm used to them being. It's going to be a real test for them, and I'm very interested in watching that. That's probably my top game to watch this week because it applies to us. Like Illinois, Michigan doesn't do much for me. Ohio State, Maryland, Miami, Clemson is a little interesting to me just because Miami's so bad, and I love that. But yeah, I'm going to watch that with bated breath, and I'm going to see where we could gain an inch.
But I really, not to look ahead, but I'm not a player, so I don't have that.
I say that too. I say that all the time.
I think Notre Dame can run the ball against USC, and I think they have a path to victory there that I like.
Yep.
I really do.
Yep, that's the path. While USC is building, it's an exceptional 7-on-7 camp passing operation, all the skill talent. Where they are still weak is their depth up front on both sides of the ball. So that is where Notre Dame needs to make hay against USC. There's no doubt about it. That's the path. You run the ball, eat the clock, score, and then you got to pressure this guy and dominate them up front. If you let that quarterback sit back there and throw, that's a problem. You can't let it get to that point.
But what I really want to see today, John, is just estimate punish people.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking for today. Run the ball and have estimate just have timeouts because there's injured player on the field. I don't want to see injured players, but I want to see estimate just punish these linebackers.
Yep, it's time. Get him running downhill. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the easiest path. I don't know if you heard it. Maybe you jumped in. The first caller was pulling in the tailgate area, and he said the one thing he noticed the closer he got to town is the wind, and the wind picked up, he said, as he got closer to South Bend. That's another interesting dynamic. If you're forced into a passing situation and it's 18 degrees and windy, we're going to see what's going to happen.
Okay, John, I want you to get to your other callers, and I appreciate your show. And I really hope that you can get your super chat worked out soon, because I feel good contributing to you, because you're like a psychiatrist to me. I discovered you this year, and I don't think I could have made it mentally without having you. Your show has allowed me to vent properly. I mean, you've helped me in big ways, and I hope you get the super chat going, because the work that you do and your big picture thing and little picture thing are just outstanding, and I just love your show.
I really appreciate that. Thank you a lot. Thanks very much. I'm working on it, and I got some things I'm working on in the back end, and then my analytics got messed up, and then Google had a problem, and I have to reboot the payment. It's just kind of tricky to navigate with YouTube on the back end. I'm hoping to be back up and running fully with everything I got to sort out soon. I really appreciate the kind words. We're all in this together. It's all one big family. Anybody that follows my show, we're all in it together. And I love doing this show, man. Thank you. Have a good one, my friend. Thanks for the kind words.
Get going. Okay, bye.
Take care. Man, we got some nice callers in this show. Man, that guy couldn't have been nicer. Nice group of people. 260, you're my hero. What's going on?
Hey, happy college football Saturday, John. How we doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm just, man, am I being too wound tight about this ball game and all the dynamics? Tell me if I'm just being like in my own head, or am I justified in feeling a little uncomfortable this morning? Talk to me.
Well, let me ask you, how should Notre Dame fans feel? We're favored to win this game by 20 plus points. It's a mid-afternoon game in South Bend with the Notre Dame wine and cheese crowd. It's freezing cold with snow elements. We have Drew Pine as the quarterback.
Hey, wait, listen. Hey,
essentially at the level of the competition.
But will the wine and cheese crowd even come? Because it's a little too cold for the wine and cheese crowd to even want to be walking around campus for their sightseeing tour, right? Like, I think those people probably won't even come today. You watch. I bet you the fancy seat backs, I bet you a lot of them are open today. I bet you a lot of them big cigar smokers aren't showing up today. I guarantee it.
I agree. You're probably right. You're probably right on that sense, because like how are they flying their private jets in to sit in 18-degree temperature? Yeah, I couldn't imagine. So hey, that's a good sign. So Notre Dame fans can actually stand up and cheer. Imagine how was for your team to stand out, having someone to go, hey, it's down in front, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
So but at the same time, I just envision that stadium just being dead. So this type of game, man, like if you got crowd behind you, it will help you tremendously as a player. Now you got to bring your own energy in 18 degrees. Whew. I mean, it's going to be rough. It's going to be one of those games, I think.
Yeah, and then, hey, man, I am never underestimating the emotions of senior day. It calms everything down when you're out there crying with your mom and dad. I'm sorry. I love senior day. I'm just saying it's one more element to consider when you're talking about getting in the right mind space to go play a physical game in brittle cold. It's just in my head. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it won't matter. But it's in my head as a worry till I see what's going to happen.
Yes, I agree. Of course, senior day is going to play an element to it. You know, it's just the game gets delayed. There's a delayed start, so you're just standing around even longer in the cold. And then you got Boston College. You know, yep. As you talked about yesterday on your show, it's one of those things where what are they known for? They're known for beating Notre Dame.
Yep,
that's what they're known for.
That's it.
I mean,
that's their claim to fame.
Game. I still remember that.
Oh my God. Oh, God bless you, sir.
Yeah.
God bless you. Still there? Whoop. He dropped off. Sorry. Call back if you want. Let's hit a couple more super chats. Then we're going to get 734-574. I know that. Oh, he's back. There he is. We'll get him. I got you back.
Yeah, sorry about that, John.
That's okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's. I mean, I look at this game, man, and it's when I think of Boston College, I think I have horror. I mean, just the thought of that '93 game playing back in my head. I was there. I remember when Gordon kicked that 41-yard field goal to win. I mean, the entire game, Notre Dame was just playing like crap, and then they had this amazing comeback in the fourth quarter. Score, I think it was 22 points, I believe, get up 39-38. But that entire time, you could just tell that Boston College was going to, like, you did not want them to have the ball at the end. You know, it's just one of those games. Who's going to have the ball at the end? Who's going to win? Whoever had that ball is going to win, and unfortunately they did. So I think I just, that's what goes through my head. And the other element that when I look at a game like this is turnovers. Turnovers are huge in a game like this because I just think it's going to be a field position game. And 18 degrees, so what I'm scared about is when Notre Dame plays Boston College, they tend to turn the ball over a lot. We're talking,
bunches. We're talking bunches. We're talking 2002 or 3, whatever that year was, 5 or 6 fumbles in the green jerseys that were too slick of a material. Like, this stupid Boston College game has so many dumb things weaved into it that I hate.
And so, and I hate to say it like this, man, like, there's a part of me that's like, man, estimates do. You know what I mean?
No. I'm going to hang up on you. Don't even, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't bring that into existence. Oh my God. I'm going to have to hit the dump button. Don't even go there with the cold and then he gets hit and the ball's out. I can't even. It's so Boston College-y, what you just said. I don't even want to entertain this damn path.
Hey, I just tell you, I mean, because I could tell you, obviously we have watched a ton of Notre Dame. Like, we bleed blue and gold. We are in that mode. And so that's where my mind goes. It's just like last week against Navy. You know, when Notre Dame's up 35-13, I honestly thought to myself, I'm like, this is the position. Like, yeah, it's great. But it's almost like you don't want to be there because you're afraid of that letdown that Notre Dame tends to do against Navy because we got this game in the bag, and here we go. You know, you blink, it's 35-33. Like, what is happening? You know, why? Because that's Notre Dame Navy. So it's Notre Dame Boston College. Notre Dame Boston College turnover, and that just man, it's just like I know you want to pound estimate. I get it, but then I'm haunted by the Stanford game. I'm just haunted by these images of the ball coming out at the most inopportune time. So
yep.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way,
but dude, they're 3-7 for a reason. They are 3-7 for a reason. They are dead last in their division for a reason. I am not trying to get in my head and convince myself they're good. A lot of this has to just do with us. It isn't like it is. Marshall played out of their heads. They did. Stanford didn't deserve to win that game. At least Marshall did play out of their heads, way above their level. But a lot of this just has to do with us and our mentality and us doing what we need to do. I don't know, man. I almost wish I wish it was USC this week with negative wind chills instead of a Northern team that's used to it.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this spread? 20 points. You got Notre Dame covering? You got Notre Dame covering? Come on.
Let me tell you that there's a reason why I don't gamble, because I don't understand the thrill of losing money in that sense. No, negative 20. 20 points spread in this type of weather. I mean, it would have to be a game where they win 27
to 3. Like yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But
people are asking. People are asking. People are. No, people are asking in the chat. Where are all these people that keep pushing the Notre Dame line up for the Irish? Like, it's like the Cubs, man. People just go to Vegas and put money on the Cubs because it's the Cubs. I think that's what goes on with Notre Dame. It's like it's Notre Dame, and then maybe you got a lot of people that because they love Notre Dame, they inflate what Notre Dame is in their mind. Like they think they're better than they really are because that's their team. I don't know. But I never bet Notre Dame. I'm not a huge gambler. I do golf more than football. I find it way easier to peg golf because there's less moving factors. It's just one guy. So I do more betting with golf. But even if I did more football, I'm staying away from Notre Dame. My head is way too involved for me, my money to get wrapped up in Notre Dame. No, not for me, man. Not for me.
No. And as a Notre Dame fan, I would get in my mind where if I were to bet on them, I would jinx them on some.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the college football gods would smite me for betting for Notre Dame.
Yeah, you know what, man?
Yeah, no.
Dude,
football, man. I don't care if you give me the money to do it.
Listen, I know people who play both sides of this. They're Notre Dame fans, and they'll bet like against Notre Dame in a big game, and then they figure if we win, they're going to be personally happy. And if we lose, they're going to make money. Like, I literally know Notre Dame fans who play that game. So no matter what, they can hedge on happiness in one way or the other, either emotionally or financially, but they're going to have a win that day no matter what. I know people who do that. That's how this fan base, what it does to you in your head, Notre Dame, it messes with your brain.
It does. It does. But you know what? It's a great messing with my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't get over it. And so I will continuously drive myself crazy year in and year out, you know, especially as
you can't just turn it off. It isn't a switch. You can't just turn it off, man. It is what it is. It's in us.
No, you can't.
It's just in us.
No.
It's never going away. It's always going to be intense. And that's just the way we live.
Right. And you know what? I mean, I think the one thing that when I think of this game that could actually help Notre Dame is if they can replicate the style of football that they did against Clemson. Okay, where that was actually good Tommy. That was a good Tommy Rees performance there, where there's a lot of different formations, a lot of different motions, a lot of different things were moving pre-snap. And, oh, by the way, we completely took Pine out of the game, like you said earlier in the show. I mean, it's because when I look at Notre Dame, it says, okay, what percentage or what type of influence does Pine have to have in this game for Notre Dame to have success? If that percentage is tiny, I mean, if he doesn't necessarily have to do anything other than turn around and hand the ball off, great. Notre Dame is a fantastic chance to win this game. If that percentage continues to increase, that's when you got trouble, because the issue that I mean, entire football game. You got California for about a quarter and a half, and then you got the entire second half against Navy. So it's like, if we can just get him out of the mix, we're going to be fine. But if he's in the mix, we are in trouble. And especially a game like this, it's like we can't have bad Pine turning back into like a sack of potatoes that just crumbling down in the pocket to take the sack. Like, we got to get out of that. We do this, we'll be fine. But man, college is what constantly goes back into my head. So,
yep.
You know, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Notre Dame's covering that 20?
If I had to pick, I'm guessing this is an ugly, frustrating game in some very familiar ways, and then Notre Dame wins it by like 13 points, and it's whatever, and we move on. That would be my guess of the most realistic outcome. Kind of frustrating, but Notre Dame does enough, and then we're all cold, but we win by like 13, and then we move on. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking 20-10 is kind of where I'm at. Again, we're in a stage of this season where I don't care if you win by 1 point.
Right. Yeah, I gave up. I gave up on like the big picture linear.
I don't care.
Yeah, the whole linear improvement getting better. Forget that. That's out. The season's almost over. You just need to find a way to win. Let me ask this: How much do you realistically expect the weather to affect the play today? Like, I genuinely don't know. I'm asking what you think. Like, how much do you think this amount of cold and wind is really going to affect what both teams can do?
It can affect it a lot. I've played in similar type of degrees and similar type of elements before. It's this is the O line. This is the game for the O linemen. O linemen love this stuff. You gotta show your bare arms out there. The wind doesn't affect you at all. That O line is going to win, and so I'm very confident Notre Dame has the best O line. But on the flip side, it will affect your receivers, can affect your running backs, your skill players, especially on defense, your cornerbacks and safeties. Sometimes if they're not getting in the actions, meaning like if it's a lot of running plays and they're not, really having any sort of, play, or where they're not getting involved in the tackle, they can fall asleep. Kind of like the Navy game where you saw what happened with our cornerback and safeties. I mean, they're just getting burned right and left because they fell asleep because they're just so used to the run. So it could be a major factor. I don't know how the wind is looking. So if you're throwing the ball's
hey,
rock.
I got a report. My first caller said it got windier as he got closer to campus. He said, I got closer to that toll road exit and the wind was whipping. That's going to add a bite, man. A Midwestern, Northern Indiana bite.
Welcome to, this is going to be like watching Iowa football.
Yeah.
I mean, run, maybe a pass, punt. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to compare Notre Dame's offense to Iowa. Woof. There you go. Let's get another pump block.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep that rolling. So, I don't know, man.
We're going to need it.
Run the ball, stop the run, and then see what happens. I don't know what else to tell you. This is just a weird one, and I want it to be over with.
I hear you. Win this game. Win it by 1 point. I don't care. And get on to Southern Cal.
Yep.
Where Notre Dame should play up. That's just who they are.
Yep.
I think they stack up very well against Southern Cal. I think Southern Cal is going to have a difficult time against UCLA because UCLA can run the ball. And Southern Cal, what I've seen, they are having a difficult time stopping that run.
Yep.
With their 3-5
Yep. They are still,
I think
for as good as they are outside, they're
Yeah.
deficient up front in the middle on both sides of the ball. That's where you beat up USC now. Up front on both sides. That's your
Absolutely.
path. Yep. So I don't know, man. We're going to see, but I'm with you. Boston College and Navy are always two games that bug me, that make me uncomfortable, and that I just want to chalk a win no matter what and keep it moving. So I hope it happens today because we need it to build the bridge to what next week should be. So that's what we got to see, man.
I agree. I have a question for you. Do you have any routines or any type of your typical college football Saturday before a game? I mean, obviously you're doing this call-in show now in the mornings and whatnot, but do you have anything that's I guess routine that you do every Saturday?
You know what, man?
If you're not attending the game.
I'll be honest with you. All of that has kind of changed for me the more I'm involved in the media end of it with my show, my Twitter, and then the Irish Wire, USA Today that I write for. Game days now are work. Like, I cannot get off this and then go start drinking and relax and enjoy that's not my Saturday anymore. It's work. So I'm writing my notes for the show. I'm following the other games. I'm doing bullet points for the USA Today article, all this. It's really turned more into work than enjoyment when I am home for it. Which I love it. That's what I want to do. So it's really changed a lot. But what I used to do is drink and pace around the house. That's what I would do all day. I couldn't sit down, man. I would pace. I'm a pacer. The Kennedys are pacers. I just can't sit still. During the games, I'm not sitting. I need to be standing and moving around for my anxiety. So I'm a pacer. I guess that's my answer. I don't know if I lost you or not, but I got to get to some other callers, man. I appreciate the call, but your phone kind of blocked out there. I don't know what happened. I didn't mean to hang up on you. I appreciated the question. 734's been waiting. 734, give me some more. What do you think of this matchup in the cold tundra of northern Indiana?
Big John, what's going on, baby? Listen, man, I talked to you a couple weeks ago before the Syracuse game. I laid that path to 10-3 for you.
Yep.
And it's looking beautiful, my brother. We're going to go in there today, pound the rock, pass when we have to, because we want those safeties up and, what have you, trying to take away the run. Because they're very suspect against the run. And then, I look for a big win today against the Irish, man. Senior day, I think the boys will be locked in, and we'll be on that team.
That needs to be the play, man. I don't care what it looks like today. We're at the point where I just need you to secure this win to be able to properly build up what next Saturday could be. Hello. Man, I'm telling you, people got some messed up phone lines today. What is it, too cold that the cell service doesn't work? I don't know what's going on. Kent says, Kent, good to see you here. Tough game with Maryland. Pfft, give me a break. Jeezy Pete's. You guys play like 2 games a year against good teams. So does Michigan. Give me a freaking break, man. Anyways. Kent says, y'all on the Minchie train now. What do you want us to be on, Kent? We need a quarterback to hitch the wagon to. Give us a break for having a little hope for once. Try and know what it's like to be us. We're begging for competent quarterback play. So, yeah, when we get a new recruit that's halfway decent, we're going to act excited. Give me a break. Oh, my gosh. 818, we're doing great. What do you think of this Boston College game?
Damn, John, it's been a week. It's been hard to believe that. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I'm just having a little BC anxiety, man. You know me well enough by now. You've been around me. Now I'm wound a little tight. Talk me out of this. I'm wound a little tight. I don't like Navy. I don't like BC. I don't. So talk me through it.
Well, I'm with you on this one, man. Hearing the last few the call-in shows, or also just the last couple videos you put out there. This is that point in the season. I think you called it the week before the Navy game. Like, we got the Navy game coming up. No one really likes that game. We all kind of established that as a fan base. Then, then we get that pesky Boston College game comes up that you always have infinitely more to lose than you have to gain. Where, even this year, it's like, that whole feeling of momentum and possibly going to be 10-3 if we win out and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, so again, it's still more to lose than win. Like we said, do we really care if we win by 3 touchdowns or we want to, just get by? I'm kind of in between, man. Today, I think it's going to be a little bit better maybe than those that think we're going to barely get by. I don't think it'll be some 4-touchdown win. Well, that has to do with the fact that it is, the elements are going to apparently play a role today. However, I think we match up really well with them, man. I mean,
Me
even
too.
the quarterback that's apparently throwing well. I mean, our secondary is playing great.
But listen, Rodney, I thought it was good, favorable matchups against Marshall and Stanford too. That's why I can't find any peace in this situation. Because those were favorable matchups too. And they were at home too. And they were in perfect weather. So I feel borderline justified being wound tight today. And a little pathetic because they're 3-7 and I'm sitting here stressing myself out.
John, why are we all feeling great about next week, and today's the day that we're like, yeah, oh, you know, we gotta get past this game.
But it makes sense because this year we have risen to the occasion and played our most competent football against the better teams we play. Even though we lost one against Ohio State, all of those middle good tier teams we beat. And then we did what we did to Clemson. It's perfectly fair for me to be on high alert for this situation.
So that was going to be the next thing out of my mouth. I'm like, on the surface, this is how it looks. However, you know, this is what's happened. What is it? We're 0-5 against the spread when we're either major favorites or barely. How's that work? Anyway, we're 0-5 against the spread there when we're like expected to lose or expected to, I think it's barely win. I don't know. I'm trying to remember now how that.
No, you're right. You're right.
It makes sense, man.
I think it was like. I'm frustrated, Rodney. Can we just?
Well, John, and here's the thing. This is the thing that I'm concerned about going forward. You know, big picture. I'm talking. You know, I got a lot of confidence that I think we're going to win today. I think it'll be probably. I'm looking at something down along the lines of a 28-14 type of game, maybe 28-17.
Perfectly reasonable given the weather.
Fine.
Yeah, reasonable.
Yeah, exactly. Perfectly reasonable. And also, man, I also think this too. And I remember saying this weeks ago, and I thought Braden Lindsey was going to break out against Clemson. And, you know, last week he had that fantastic catch. That poor guy. Like, I've been on him too, man, you know, years past. But this season, I really think that he's playing really well. You're just not seeing it because he's not getting the ball. But, man, I'm telling you, I think that player is ready to do something against somebody. You know what I mean? I would get the ball in his hand early and often these next couple of weeks because I think he's going to make a big difference. I really do. I got this feeling. Maybe it'll be next week. But I got this feeling Braden Lindsey's going to be a star in a game or two before it's all over.
That'd be a big deal. That'd be a big deal. And if you could finally get that, you know what? Next week would be a good time to have that show up, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's the feeling I get. I'd probably next week more than this week, but I just think it's anyone else grinded out wins. I think the defense will play really good. That's kind of again, the offense will be probably just serviceable today, and that's fine. And then let's head to USC. But going forward, man, you know, it is, especially if we barely win today, John, or God forbid we lose. God forbid we lose. Everyone's had that word come out of my mouth. Then we're going to be basically put in a situation where we have to look at the entire year as playing far under expectation every single time we played somebody that was inferior. And so that's what will really be going forward because most of our schedule is going to be against teams we should beat. Let's be fair. Most of the schedule, you know, other than the few big marquee games here, will be against teams we're supposed to win. And probably at least a third that we're supposed to win by a lot of points.
Now, let me ask this. Are you open to this being a first-year new coaching staff, a lot of moving parts, instability, calibration year, and then maybe that issue will just sort itself out next year with more stability? Like, a part of me thinks that, a part of me hopes that, because if it's something deeper than that, that's a bigger problem.
Yes, I do believe that has a whole lot to do with it. I mean, there's, I don't remember what it was. I'm not going to throw out numbers here, but there was some kind of thing where they were talking about first coaches and you know, whether they had big or, you know, good first seasons or not. Generally, it was the games like this. And again, I don't have any statistics to back this up. I was just kind of watching it sort of haphazardly. But that makes sense, man, because especially a young coach like Marcus Freeman who's trying to figure it out. You know, you can understand. Getting kids together to play at their top level against that top competition and being real excited. There's again, the thing I give Kelly credit for. I thought about this a lot, very consciously going into this year, man. I'm like, I got a feeling things are going to flip. Under Kelly, we won the games we were supposed to, but couldn't win the big ones. I got this weird feeling under Marcus. Initially, I'm never thinking this initially, we're probably going to be really good in those games that we're not supposed to win, but we're probably going to lose a couple we're not supposed to lose. And that is exactly what happened. I didn't think it'd be to this degree, but I think it is first time head coach stuff. I think once the staff gets figured out, you know, going forward, if there's any changes that need to be made. Look, if Tommy wants to come back, he's going to come back. I don't see any chances of being fired or anything like that, even behind closed doors. If he wants to go to the NFL, he'll go to the NFL. But if he comes back, I go back to what I said 3 weeks ago, I believe it's crucial for Notre Dame to hire either a seasoned veteran quarterbacks coach who's had a history of getting it done with his quarterbacks and making them increasingly better, or we need some kind of or at least that position and an analyst side. There needs to be somebody else, I think, another person looking at the offense. I think Tommy's fine as an offensive coordinator. I really mean that. Amore, I actually think he's a very good offensive coordinator.
All right, so give me what?
Coach.
Give me
That's the
David
problem,
Cutcliffe.
John.
Give me David Cutcliffe as an analyst to just keep the train on the
sure.
tracks. A guy who's
Sure.
seen it all,
Yeah.
been around. Tommy can bounce ideas off of. He can. I just need some guardrails because this year I saw some things that can't be, and I think there has to be consequences for that. And if Tommy's staying, one of them is guardrails. And by guardrails, I mean give me a senior analyst who's seen it all that could keep the car on the road when things start to go sideways. All right. And I think I need that to feel comfortable if Tommy's staying here because I've seen so much bad that I can't have it any other way. I'm sorry. That's just where I'm at.
I agree. It's weird, man. It's weird to be in this situation with offensive coordinator that you actually think has. I mean, if I'm being honest, he's a Notre Dame player. Former, and of course, man, we're going to give this person more chances. They're going to give someone else. That's probably just the truth.
I think that is.
Been here.
574, you're up next. I got you. Rodney.
Video signs this year. I mean, he called an amazing game against Clemson. But man, it just seems like those games against the teams. Again, the defense. I can't blame too much because most of the time, even in those games that we were supposed to, the ones that we lost, the defense really wasn't the problem. Those big stops they didn't make either, but it's more of an offensive issue. And if they go one step further, and again, not to bury Drew Pine, but there's been a disconnect, I believe, at the quarterback position. So I think going forward, I even say hire a new quarterbacks coach or absolutely get another set of eyes to be an analyst or something. Because I think if we figure that out, and if you stand and look at the improvement the offensive line's made all year, oh God, I forgot his name already, John, the wide receivers coach.
Stuckey?
Yeah, Stuckey. I'm sorry, Stuckey. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah, me too. He's got the toughest job on the whole staff.
Years goes on, I think.
He's got the toughest job on the whole staff. What he had to work with here and try and get out of this group. And he's a good teacher, good communicator, good recruiter. I like the staff. Yeah. So Rodney, 20 points here. Come on. Is Notre Dame going to cover this, or is it too cold? May win an ugly game by 10 and move to LA. What are we doing here?
I don't think they're going to cover, John. I think it's going to be like 28-7.
Me neither. There's no way I would pick Notre Dame to cover for all the reasons I've been worried about all week. There's just no damn way. You're not going to the game or doing any of that today, are you? Going to stay warm, right?
No, I was actually offered a ticket, and I turned it down because I'm here in Indianapolis. I'm like, man, I just can't. I'm going into town next week for Thanksgiving. I'm like, I can't really do that twice. And
yeah.
So no, man, I'll be here.
Beautiful. Well, enjoy the game, my friend, and then give me a call next week, and we'll go over how it went. Okay.
Oh, for sure, man. Hey, have a good week, John. And I'm sure I'll probably text you before Thanksgiving, but if for whatever reason we don't do that, have a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, you as well. We'll be in contact, though. Have a good one, man. Enjoy the ball game. Always good to talk to him. Kent, what are you talking about, Kent? If y'all wasn't so greedy, y'all would be playing for the ACC championship. Greedy? We make less money doing it this way. I would say we're not greedy. If we were greedy, we would go for the biggest money. But there are things that are more important to Notre Dame than the money. It's the opposite of greedy. Greed is going for the most money you could get. We're not doing that. It's the opposite. Unless I'm, That's just the way I see it. I don't know what to tell you. What button did I hit? This stupid box I opened on accident. 276, you're in the mix. What's going on today?
First time caller, really enjoy your show. I keep hearing you talking about the weather being a factor in today's game. I'm more worried about the weather being a factor in the recruiting for today, especially with Minchie being there. What's your thoughts?
Hey, I thought of it too, man. I actually had that exact. First off, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling. Always love getting people in for the first time. So thanks for that. I think about this all the time. Like, it worked out with the 60 plus recruits in for Clemson that the weather ended up being mild. It was a little chilly, but nothing bad at all. My biggest concern today was if the weather was bad enough, it kept Minchie out of town if he wasn't able to get there. I was relieved last night to see the photos of him on campus. It quelled my worry with him. I just needed him to get there. And I know he's on campus. That was my number one concern. When you get into the game, if it's cold and the crowd's not engaged and it's ugly and it's quiet, I don't love that dynamic either. But there's only so much you could do. And the more important one was having a great showing for the 60 plus that were there for Clemson. But I'm with you. It is something in my mind. It's something in my mind.
Do they have any other recruits coming in today?
I think they do, but I don't have the list. I was so worried about Minchie, I don't have the list, but I'm pretty sure that they do.
We really need to land him. I mean, big time.
I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I feel like it's a done deal. I mean, knock on wood. I'm not trying to mess us up here. But the timing of everything and the behind the scenes people, I feel like it's a done deal, but I'm going to knock on wood.
Well, I hope so. Anyway, thank you for taking my call.
No problem, man. Thanks for giving me a call, and then feel free to call back anytime. Would love to hear from you. Thanks a lot, man.
I will. Thank you.
Take care. Man, just nice little call there. Had one thing to call and ask about. I love that, man. That's the thing, you guys. I don't have any expectations when people call. It could be longer. It could be just one point, one question. There's no pressure. It's an open forum for you guys. Whatever. Oh, boy. Let's see. What is this? El Nino Brown. You know what's crazy? That if we finish the rest of the season with no more losses and a bowl victory with Pine as QB1, we'll have to eat our words because that is the best case for ND to flourish next year. I mean, yeah, it would be good if we went 10-3. That's obviously good for next year. That doesn't mean Pine's entitled to the job. Like, right? Like, that could be the bridge to get us to where we need to go or whatever, but it doesn't mean that if we run that all out, Pine's the inherent quarterback next year. I don't see it that way. I don't know if that's what you mean by this. I would be thankful of Pine doing that to get us to that point. And then I need a better quarterback from now on in Notre Dame. I mean, that's quite frankly how I see it. Here we go. 5:05. Let's stay alive. What's on your mind today?
Hey, dude, what's up?
What's going on? Good morning. What's on your mind here?
Hey, man. I'm just trying to be the like a optimistic one. There's a lot of like a negative, like a Nancy's today. I don't know why. Notre Dame,
too much scar tissue. Boston College, Notre Dame scar tissue, man. There's a lot to work through, and people are having a hard time with it. I'm sorry.
But when was the last time we lost? 2008?
I know. But I think
we haven't had a close game with them in God knows when.
But that's not the only. But wait, man. Wait. But that's not the only factor.
Okay, go ahead.
That's not the only factor that's causing me the concern. It isn't just in this vacuum of BC being 3-7 and us being better than them. I also have concerns about what's happened at home against teams like this earlier in the year. That's also adding to my worry on top of the Boston College scar tissue. And then you add in the really, really cold weather that I don't know whether it'll affect things or not, or who it would favor or not. And you put it all in the mix, and then you get John a little wound tight. Make me feel better. Make me feel better.
A little bit too much about this. I know how we have played this year against like inferior competition,
Right.
But we need to. Usually, when we think we're going to win big, we don't. Usually, when we think we're going to lose, we don't either. So in this situation, where the fan base is talking how we're barely going to win, that usually means we're going to blow them out. It's just how it always seems to happen. But then a game like Marshall, when we think we're going to blow them out, we lose. And so Stanford, we're getting good some good stuff in us. We lose. In this case, I think we're kind of feeling a little bit like a negative on the second half against Navy last week. I liked what Marcus Freeman was talking about last week, how we're going to use the second half as like a motivation. I think we're going to come out like a fired up.
Yeah, man, I like your energy. I like that upbeat energy. What's the path for Notre Dame today? Run the ball with Estime, try and build that out, throw if you need to. Is that what you want us to do? Because I think that might be the easiest path.
I want to well, this is what I wanted to do with Clemson, but I guess we could just like a run on them. What I wanted to do was kind of like start off, get some quick pass game going, and we didn't really do that in the second half against Navy, and we didn't no screens to the running back. That would have been wide open. All I want is quick passes to keep them, like I'm honest, and then like a pound the rock.
Yeah, and then here's
some like easy stuff to get by, nothing too much.
Dude,
Maybe
let me
take a shot or two every once in a while.
You want to talk about running the ball? Here's a stat for you that's going to make you want to run it even more. Over the last 2 ball games, Boston College has allowed on the ground over 4.5 yards per carry. And that is against teams without the offensive line and running backs we have, in my opinion. Come on, fellas. O-line you. Let's move some people today in the cold. Move them around.
The one thing I was also thinking about from last week, I hope Navy didn't come up with the scheme in the second half where they just sent a all-out blitz. Boston College might try that a little bit today. Like, hey, that worked with Navy, that might work with us. But we didn't throw any dump-off screens to the running back, and that would have been wide open, or went back to the first touchdown pass that we threw against Navy. We need to get those short pass games going.
Yeah, and that could definitely come in play today, especially if there is breezes like a 20-plus degree wind here, or 20 mile per hour rather. So I like your path, and I like your optimism. Somebody like me, I think, is just I got enough scar tissue, and I'm a worrier by nature. That all the evidence here just has me a little wound tight. If I had to guess, ugly, kind of annoying, and then Notre Dame wins by 13 and we move on to LA and make it a big deal next week. Like that is my guess of the most likely scenario. I hope we cover the spread. I just don't know what to expect today. It's going to be a little different.
Yeah, I need to keep the same energy. I can't be all motivational and say we're not going to cover. I think we're going to cover. How about that?
I like that, man. And you're going to be my last caller of the day, and we're ending.
I think we're going to cover.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It's the last caller of the day, and we're ending with positivity. We're ending with somebody who's. I love this, man. Thank you for this. I like that.
So, what's the spread again? A 20.5?
I think so.
20.5. Let me go a 35 to a 14. We get 21.
There you go.
A 28 on them. 28 spread, right?
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
14, solid win. I think we can. I think our defense is going to come up fired up from last week. They gave up some points last week, gave some yards. I think they're going to come fired up, hit some people. I think we're going to get some motivation and go into USC. We need that win. And like I said last week, I'm a second-time caller, so I don't know if you remember my call from last week. That then we have to go in our bowl game and win our bowl game to get the recruiting, to get the motivation.
Uh-oh. We were on such a good path there. He was being all positive, and then his phone cut out. Just so you know, if you're still listening, I didn't hang up on you. Your phone cut out. Sorry, man. But I really like that positivity there. Good to see Nick Shepkowski here. I'm telling you, man, Nick works his butt off as the managing editor for the Fighting Irish Wire. That guy is content. Up till 3 or 4 in the morning after the Clemson game, getting us up and getting everything out we needed to for you guys after that game. Does a great job. My brother's here, by the way, A.K. Kennedy. Good to see you here. Him and his wife expecting a baby. It's going to be a boy. We did the gender reveal right in front of Touchdown Jesus the week of the Clemson game. It was beautiful. Beautiful for sure. So, no kidding, Phil. Every caller, there was one caller that was crystal clear. Everybody else sounded like they were in a tunnel or that they're working at their coal mining job when they're calling me from a sewer or something. I don't know what happened. Maybe it's the cold weather. My brother says, that's right. I don't know what it is. The cold weather affects the cell service or something. Jeez. But all right, folks. That's going to be it. Enjoy your day of football. I'm hoping that I'm just overthinking this and over worrying. Chicks Dig the Stutter was the last caller. Thanks for the conversation. I'm sorry, man. Your phone just kind of got all messed up and it dropped off. Sorry about it. Sorry about that. So thanks everybody for being here. Everybody, we had a good group today. So enjoy this. Bundle up, stay warm, pour yourself a couple drinks to keep you warm, and we'll see what's going to happen. As always, first thing tomorrow morning, the post-game instant reaction review will be up. That's what I do. I wake up in the morning and record those on Sundays to get them to you before the NFL window starts. We'll do that, and then Monday call in again. All right? Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the kind words.